Hey y'all, it's your pal Madge, and as you can see, we are awash in flowers today. So let's pick a few. I'm going to start with this purple Madam Butterfly that has the little frilly petals. The bottom few blossoms are open, and that's the right time to harvest snapdragons. So I'm going to take my clippers almost all the way down to the base so I can have a nice long stem that I can arrange beautifully. And also, snipping it that low is going to encourage the snapdragon to branch out and make more blooms. Right into the bucket. Let's take some of these yellow ones. They look ready too. So again, I'm going to take my clippers. I'm going to go all the way down to the base and I'm going to clip it. That's a pretty girl. So if you've been to my channel before, you probably noticed we moved these raised beds. I was just feeling like they weren't getting enough sun up against this wall because this house really blocks out the sun at like 3 p.m. each day. So we decided to arrange them in 2 rows and face them both due south. And as I'll show you in a couple of minutes, that bed that was struggling last week is doing a lot better now. But it's starting to rain again, so let me go ahead and pick these flowers. This is maybe the third or fourth harvest that I've had this week, and I've probably gotten 15 or 20 stems each time. It's insane, the productivity that we're getting out of these raised beds. It's funny, in Pittsburgh, the weather pattern this year seems to be, well, not this year, the last couple of weeks seems to be beautiful all week and then rain on the weekends. Let's see. Oh, there's a little bee on this guy, but I'm still going to harvest him. Okay, this little bee is also looking for his breakfast. I love when the bees snuggle down inside the little snapdragons, like they sit on the bottom petal and they're just heavy enough to make it open, and then they climb inside. So cute. I can't stand it. So we're going to do some harvesting, and then I'm going to take you inside and we're going to do some arranging. I don't have a huge variety to work with right now, but honestly, these flowers are so pretty, it doesn't even matter. Like a giant vase just stuffed full of snapdragons, there's nothing wrong with that. All right, I think just this one or two more and I'll be done with the snapdragon harvesting for today. Now I am stripping the leaves off of the bottom 2/3 or so of each stem. That's so when I put them in a vase with water, there's no leaves below the water line because those leaves will go manky and they will make the whole bouquet go nasty before it's time. So I'm just holding onto the stem in my left hand and running my right hand down the stem, and most of the leaves come off really easily when you do that. And all of these leaves that I'm stripping off will just compost in place on the bed below us and add more organic material to that soil. So nothing wrong with that. You see the thickness of this stem? This pink snapdragon is really a monster. I've harvested like 10 stems and it's just one plant. So I'm going to have to make sure I save some seeds from this one at the end of the year because I definitely want to grow it again. So I've really been enjoying the deck since we rearranged it. It's I don't know. I just like spending time out here a little bit more. I've been bringing my tea out every morning and just staring at the garden for a while and thinking about what I want to do next. It's very pleasant. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you this closer up. This is that Madame Butterfly variety that has the frilly petals instead of just the petals that we see on the other variety that we're growing, which is called Costa. Really gorgeous. I'm a fan. And in the background, you might be able to see that we have a lot of sweet peas that need harvesting as well. So let's grab a couple of those before we go in. I also want to grab some of my little phloxes, which have started blooming this week as well. Ever since we moved this bed into more sunshine, the flowers have started to arrive over there as well. So we can take a look at that together. All right, there's a couple of things I've noticed about these snapdragons since I harvested them that I wanted to share with you. So I have been harvesting these when the bottom 1 or 2 rows of petals are open. And when you put them in a vase, first thing they do is straighten up overnight. So even if they've bent towards the sun in the bed, when you put them in the vase, they start to straighten up. They also get taller because when you harvest them, hello, bee friend. When you harvest them, the petals that are out are the most saturated. And then as the other petals emerge in the vase, they're more muted. So you get that gorgeous ombre effect. I also didn't know this when I planted them, but these lavender ones have a yellow throat to the petals, which just makes them incredibly beautiful. And as the yellow petals age, some of them start to look a little lavender, a little pink themselves. Very, very cute. Behold, my children. These little foxes are so cute. They are cherry caramel varieties, and you can see that there's multiple blooms on each head. This one I think is ready to harvest because about half of the blooms are blooming. So again, just like the snapdragons, I'm going to go down nice and deep on the plant and get a nice long stem. And you can see when I harvest these, I do sacrifice some little buds, but you know, every gardener has to make this decision for themselves. And I'm willing to sacrifice a few of these to get nice long stems in the future. These are so cute. Now I am harvesting some sweet peas, and again, I'm cutting them as far down the stem as I can bear to do it. The sweet pea season is a little bit shorter than the snapdragon season, so it makes me not want to sacrifice so many side shoots to get blooms, but I'm trying to just weigh those different concerns and get the longest stems I can for the time that I have. I could harvest this celosia, but I just love how this gradient looks in the garden so much. What could be better than a rainbow ombre accidental celosia bed? But I am going to harvest some of this celosia. I have never grown or harvested celosia before, but from what I can tell, it's just a branching plant like everything else that we've been harvesting today. And it will branch out and create more shoots and more flowers from the point at which I cut it. Yeah, I'm just cutting off all of the foliage, either that's below where the water is going to sit or that doesn't look nice. I think when I planted these, it was right before we had like 4 weeks of rain and they just got a little bit sodden. And I think that led to a little bit of fungal damage on some of these leaves. This is a fat boy. I have had quite a few aphids on these plants as well. So I noticed that there was a bunch of ants running around on these. And when that happens, it's usually ants farming aphids because they like this sweet secretion that they make. So the easiest thing to do is just blast them with the jet on your hose and everything just kind of falls off. Sometimes they come back, oftentimes they don't. I'm taking off some of these baby flowers. That's a nice looking stem. Good job, Celosia. Even in challenging conditions, you have become beautiful. Oh, there's an ant. Don't want to bring him inside if I can avoid it. All right, let's take one more Celosia while we're here. I'm going to take this big, beautiful, frilly one at the end. Wow, that's a beauty. It does have some weird stuff on there. Just get that off with my clippers if I can. If not, I'll use my fingers. There you have it, y'all. My first Celosia harvest. Not a bad harvest for one day, even though I look a little bit like a drowned rat. After we harvested those flowers together, I put them in some water and let them sit in a cool place inside so they could rehydrate. And then I took some time to arrange them. And honestly, as much as I love watching flowers grow outside, arranging them might be my favorite part. Just to play with the different colors and the different textures and the different feelings that the flowers give me. It's a form of creative expression that's honestly way more fun than anything I can ever remember doing. It finally stopped raining, and it's really lovely outside right now. So, friends, I wanted to leave you with a shot of how much better everything is looking in this bed since we moved it to a place where it can get some more sunshine. And next time we get together, let's talk about how to arrange all these beautiful things that we're pulling out of the garden so that we can enjoy them inside. In the meantime, I hope you have a fantastic week. I hope that you will subscribe so you can follow along as we continue to create and enjoy more beauty together on this channel. Bye for now.